Garmin's most powerful 2025 dash camera is actually quite small. With 4K resolution, intuitive touchscreen, automatic incident detection and much more, is the X310 the right one? Let's inspect. Hey bud, great to meet you. I'm the Tech Mishka, and can you believe that this thing over here weighs less than 70 grams? Smaller than an action camera. It's a dash cam by Garmin, and they promise that despite the tiny form factor, it can provide some super duper quality in 4K and a rather fair price. Well, in this detailed review, I'm about to share everything that I've experienced while using this dash camera. Understand a lot of footage, image quality analysis, the smartphone app, menu walkthrough, tips and tricks about installation and setup, basically everything you might want to know about the X310. Let's get started. Daytime footage results depend a lot on the conditions and the exact time of the day. Less light is actually good, and the camera handles the exposure in a pretty good way. Lots of details, good clarity, good levels of sharpness, some noise, and tolerable distortions. And you're probably going to notice some wobbling quite weirdly, and it's more obvious if the road is bumpy and you drive a little faster. It's something you can live with given the fact that it is not critical with dash cameras, but yet something that rarely happens with competitive products. I was able to notice some dynamic range issues too, especially if you drive behind a white car and the sun is behind you. In some of these cases, the plates are not readable at all. 4K 30p is the maximum resolution supported, and there also is 1080p at 120 FPS option. It is a good idea only in some super bright conditions, because due to the nature of digital cameras with small image sensors, the high frame rates are never a good idea for nighttime videos. Speaking of which, if it is dark, then the quality is rather acceptable, but if it is dark and raining at the same time, it's what goes beyond the capabilities of this exact setup. True, the video quality is in no way bad, it's just that the hardware and the software development from the past few years have enabled dashcam makers to build products with significantly better low-light performance at a much lower price than the one asked by Garmin. Thus, the comparison with the popular 70mm A110, which is apparently a significantly better option if nighttime footage is a priority. Most likely, with the X310, Garmin used a morally outdated image sensor, which used to be a great one some years ago, but not among the class-leading solutions any longer, so don't have too high expectations about videos captured at dark. The build quality and the design are what I'd like to cover next, and while we're unboxing and preparing for the first-time setup, let's say that you're gonna get the same kind of experience with most other Garmin products. Not as premium as the price would suggest, though. I was really surprised by the form factor, because this one looks so small. On the lens, we can read the words polarized engraved, meaning that the X310 has inbuilt CPL filter, which reduces the reflections and might improve the image quality somewhat. A very functional mount. Apparently there is a touch screen, couple of buttons, a Type-C port for the power. Thus far, it all looks good. If we make a quick check on the specs side, 4K is the maximum recording resolution, 140-degree diagonal field of view, an inbuilt polarizing lens, there's an inbuilt battery which can last for about 20 minutes, you can auto-sync up to 4 units, there is inbuilt GPS, Wi-Fi, and all of that could be operated via the Garmin Drive smartphone app. Reviewing Garmin products and talking about their specs is usually among the toughest things I have to do in my job because, well, let's say that Garmin makes sure that the information about the internal components doesn't really reach that many people. For example, I don't know for sure what is the image sensor inside, nor any information about the system on a chip. We do have some clues, though, and I really want to find out about this information because otherwise it's really difficult to make comparisons against other devices. For example, the SoC most likely is delivered by Umbrella. I suspect they use one of the slightly older models, especially knowing that it supports 120 frames per second in 1080p and also its thermal behavior because it's winter time over here and yet the temperatures of the X310 can be rather warm. As for the image sensor, I assume that Garmin rely on something close to the Sony Starvis Generation 1 line. It's not superb, it's not too bad, but definitely something which is already outdated and trailing the competition. Another surprise, at least to me, is the fact that Garmin deploy inside a battery, and in the dash camera world, the use of batteries instead of a supercapacitor is considered to be a disadvantage, which means that out of everything, besides this very tiny and lightweight form factor and the super great mounting mechanism, the only true advantage of the X310 is the inbuilt polarizing filter, which is not that much. So hopefully Garmin did some other things the right way in order to bring you the right kind of user experience. Let me show you about the installation. It is so easy! Garmin don't include such as part of the accessories, but you can buy a basic smartphone display folio, cut it in half, and use it as a layer between the windshield and the adhesive tape on the mount. Then stick, adjust, connect the cable, bring the other side of the cable to the cigar lighter port, and done. A few remarks here: always do the planning first, because although tiny, you want to make sure the X310 will not be obstructing your line of sight, and is also going to record in the area which is still within the reach of the wipers. Also, turns out that third-party Type-C cables might not work, like in my case, and you will still have to use the original one. That's pretty much it. Very nice magnetic quick release. Also, when you power the car on, the X310 powers on by itself, and it's automatically handling the recordings. Whenever the microSD card gets full, it will automatically delete the oldest entries. 64 GB of storage are enough for recording up to several hours in 4K format. I'm absolutely sure you're gonna like what comes next, the software walkthrough. First of all, this is among the best TFT displays I've ever used in a dash camera, and the menu feels perfect. Not too many options to configure, but all of the needed features seem to be there. Some nice-to-have extras are available too, such as the incident detection and the implementation similar to ADAS, which informs you in case you're departing the lane or quickly approaching a vehicle on the front. Oh, a few voice commands are recognized too. You can easily mark a recording as read-only or emergency. You can swipe in different directions in order to get a feature or a setting that you need to, or get the Garmin Drive smartphone app, my favorite dash camera app by far. Seamless, problem-free and stable connection, enabling you to quickly download all the necessary files, access to all the configuration features, and easy way to purchase additional accessories. For example, if you need X310 to be available during parking mode, then you need to order a hardwire kit. So there we are, the Garmin X310. Currently driving with about 75 kilometers per hour, and this is a test with the internal microphone of this dash camera. So, a lot of good sides, but what is it that I didn't like about it? First and foremost, it relies on outdated hardware setup, has an inbuilt battery and not a supercapacitor, and seems to require Garmin-only products for constant power, and yeah, feels somewhat expensive. Now, conclusion time, and probably what I'm going to say in the next few minutes is going to be a bit surprising, and could be a sign that lately I'm including some emotional elements to my conclusion, but let me keep it short. If we think about image quality, overall build quality, the parts used inside, the capabilities of this dash camera, it certainly lacks what it takes to be called a really good and excellent 2025 contender. I think that on a hardware level, Garmin could have done colossally better job, especially about picking in a significantly better image sensor. But if somebody asks me about a recommendation for tiny, easy to use, easy to install with good software, 4K dash camera, the X310 would be my first go-to choice and recommendation, because the overall user experience is really on par with what the price suggests, or probably with what we expect from Garmin's pricing to be suggesting. I definitely would recommend the camera if you can buy it at a discount, and I think it's a very good and solid 2025 choice, especially if you're looking for simplicity and small form factor. That's everything I wanted to share with you about this episode, and I'm really looking forward to hear more about your opinion Do you like the X310? And do you think this kind of image quality is acceptable given the price point? Comment section is down below the video. As usual, you can do something good for me. Give me a like, subscribe to the channel for more cool tech inspections, and please support my hard work over here, because everything you've seen compressed within these few minutes takes a lot of hours of hard work in the background. Therefore, using any of the affiliate links posted down below would be greatly appreciated. I'm the Tech Mishka, wish you a fantastic day, drive safely, and I'm gonna see you in the next one. Bye!